Okay, sounds good. All right. By the way, when I shared the last recording with the leadership team, I did that from my Cirrus safe. Okay, I'm lying. I didn't do it. My wife did it from my Cirrus safe. But just so you'll know, lots of other applications that are great. Anyway, it's good to have you guys on today. And Chris and Vaughn, you guys unfortunately missed this great story, but I'll have to tell you another time
All
on
right.
on that and catch you up. But okay, I'm going to try to share this. I was going to say my wife, Milan, is wonderful at helping me do all these. So I am totally on my own this morning. And when I went to show my training in the PowerPoint, I realized it wasn't working. She's in the front room doing a training for her company. It's a 2 hour presentation on runway for her, women's, products that they're selling. It's not an MLM, it's a different company. It's a women's shapewear kind of company. And she's got a massive presentation she's doing. So she's in the front room. And normally I'd revert to the dining room table, but I couldn't do that. Because it would interfere with her presentation. So I've been relegated to my office, guys. So this is where you see me today in my office. And when I went to do the presentation, I couldn't bug her about how to fix it because she's right in the middle of her thing. So I reached out to Jeremy to help me with at least the video portion that I want to share with you in training today. So I'm going to start uh, let's see if I can do this right. Dun. Okay, let's see if hey, so far so good, Jerem. I'm okay, and let me kind of come down here to this. Okay, the first thing, of course, is I always like to put a disclaimer on here, not because I think I'll say something, but just in case I may make some kind of financial claim, which I've really trained myself not to do, and give any kind of false use from that concept. And so this is training. And Jeremy asked me in a text to the leadership chain, he said, hey, what's the name of your presentation this morning? If I knew my presentation wouldn't have worked, I would have said when things go wrong. But instead, the presentation this morning is called Having the Vision to Look Around Corners. Where did I get that from? I got that from what Gordon always reminds me that Craig and Bob, they always talk about how Craig seems to have the ability to look around corners and see what's coming in the future. And so consequently, that's the name of the presentation, having the vision to look around corners. Again, I just wanted to acknowledge that for the month of June, not the month of May, for the month of June, Fatai made the top 10 list of the June top app shares. Congratulations, Fatai, for doing that. Love that. And then top enrollers, which is really what leads to success. If you're enrolling people out there and things are happening, the number one person, by the way, you could see is from Norway. And then you see a couple of people, three people from Australia. So they have a good thing going down there. But nevertheless, on the top of enrollers, you'll see my good friend, my best friend. Okay, I'm sorry, Gordon. I should I just slipped out that way. When I'm
I understand. I
when I,
understand.
when I'm talking to all you guys individually, you're all my best friends, but Chris is really my best friend. But anyway, um, so Chris Dowling made number 6 on the list for top enrollers. And then to embarrass us last month, we had 4 people in the top 10 as far as volume builders. And volume is really where it counts in my brain. And last month, we had 4 people in the top 10. We had number 5, which was Vivant, and number, I think, 7, which I think was Jeremy Jenkins. and number 8 was Chris Dowling. And so this month, Dan took offense that we just kind of wiped him out last month in May. And he came back in and he was the 5th top volume builder in the company. So congratulations to all of you guys. I just wanted to say that is really very cool. Okay, Jerem, I'm going to share with you. I want to show you this video. Let me just set this up for a sec. I want to share a couple of videos with you because when Gordon talks about Craig looking around corners and seeing the future, I want you to realize it wasn't that long ago. It may seem a long time ago to some of you, but I want to share with you some people on their visions of the future. And this is the first time that Katie Couric and Brian Campbell and Matt Lauer were talking about this crazy thing called the internet. So, Jerem, I'm going to share with you, and if you can play that, that'd be awesome.
Millions of Americans own a personal computer. If you're one of them, you can now glimpse the future with nothing more than a modem, a phone line, and a few dollars a month.
Oh, that's
that little mark with the A and then the ring around it.
At?
See, that's what I said. Katie said she thought it was about.
Yeah. Oh.
But I'd never heard it.
Around.
I'd never heard it said. I'd always seen the mark, but never heard it said. And then it sounded stupid when I said it. Violence at NBC.
Just what is this main artery of the information superhighway?
Every business, no matter how large and no matter how small, will be on the internet in the year 2000. It's the primary way that people will look up information. It will replace the yellow pages as we know it today.
Are a lot of people just getting on to the internet because they feel that they have to get onto the playing field, so to speak?
Well, it's very hip to be on the internet right now.
There it is. Violence at NBC, GE.com. I mean...
Well, Allison should know.
What is internet anyway?
Internet is that massive computer network. The one that's becoming really big now.
What do you mean? That's big. How does one? What do you write to it like mail?
No, a lot of people use it to communicate. I guess they can communicate with NBC writers and producers. Allison, can you explain what internet is?
No, she can't say anything in 10 seconds or less.
I'm afraid that if I subscribed to something like internet, you would really be hooked. I would get hooked, and I would never, spend time with my family. Does it bother you at all that these are all people that you don't really know? I mean, that everybody's signing on and having these conversations and whining together or griping together or whatever, with people that I don't know if I.
It is group therapy of the 90s.
Well, as I mentioned, I have no desire to be a part of the internet because I feel like I'm so inundated with information all the time that I don't want more. Don't you ever feel like it's just constant bombardment?
I don't know. I guess the thing I'd resent most is I would resent at least when you're home, if the phone rings, you have the option of not answering it. On the internet, people can send you messages all the time you don't even want to hear from.
All right. So
how does the church now?
Okay, so that's a really interesting video, and there was a comment in there by the president, by the CEO of Sun Microsystems, which is out of Palo Alto, California. Oh, hang on, let me mute this out. Sorry, I'm going to mute everybody for a second. Okay, and so Jeremy, you might need to unmute again as a result. But Sun Microsystems CEO made the comment. He goes, 5 years from now. Now, remember, the video is 1995. 5 years from now, he said, which would be the year 2000, everybody will be on the internet. He said, everybody will be on the internet. And 5 years later, boom, everybody was on the internet. It happened that quickly. And the reason I said that is because Craig, in one of our presentations, Craig Pickering the other night, said the exact same thing. He goes, 5 years from now, everybody will be involved in blockchain. And that's where Gordon says, somehow Craig can see around these corners. And here we are, all of you first. Okay, so here's the second video. Found it interesting. The interview with, okay, here we go.
Got it?
With Bill Gates and David Letterman. And some of these questions.
But I think about this, and what about this internet thing? Do you know anything about that?
Sure.
What the hell is that exactly?
Well, it's become a place where people are publishing information.
Right.
So everybody can have their own homepage. Companies are there, the latest information. It's wild what's going on. You can send electronic mail to people. It is the big new thing.
Yeah, but it's easy to criticize something you don't fully understand, which is my position here.
Go ahead.
But I can remember a couple of months ago, there was like a big breakthrough announcement that on the internet or on some computer deal, they were going to broadcast a baseball game. You could listen to a baseball game on your computer. And I just thought to myself, does radio ring a bell? You know what I mean?
There's a difference.
There is a difference.
It's not a huge difference.
What is the difference?
But you can listen to the baseball game whenever you want.
All right.
Too.
Oh, I see. So it's stored in one of your memory deals,
Exactly.
and then you can come
That's
back
the
a year
RAM
later.
thing you talked about earlier.
Yeah. Do tape recorders ring a bell? Yeah, I just don't know. What can you, just knowing me, the little you know me now, what am I missing here? What do I need?
Well, if you want to learn about the latest cigars or auto racing statistics.
Well, I've got that covered. I subscribe to 2 British magazines devoted entirely to motorsports, and I call the Quaker State Speed Line about 2 times a half hour. So now, would the computer give me more than I'm getting that way?
Oh, you can find other people who have the same unusual interests you do, and.
You mean the troubled loner chat room on the internet?
Absolutely.
And the other video that I wanted to share. By the way, I don't know if you paid attention to the questions, because Craig always talks about how he was kind of laughed at, but these were the questions that were asked by David Letterman. He goes, "What the hell is this internet thing? Do you know anything about that?" To Bill Gates. And then he goes, "It's easy to criticize something you don't fully understand. Have you heard of radio? Have you heard of a tape recorder? What am I missing here?" You see, and that was the environment where Craig went, this is going to work. And this is going to go around. And so Bill Gates answers, "It's the big new thing." And that's what Craig keeps telling us too. Here we are 35 years later. And my question is, how many of us use a radio? Maybe you listen to Sirius radio, maybe you listen to radio in a car, but really, how many of us even listen to radio today when you think about it, other than maybe a podcast or something that goes on? And I was telling somebody the other day, I said, I have my own radio station. And they said, "What?" I said, "Yeah, I have my own radio station. And it has options of millions of songs. And I'm a big collector. I have like 35 different playlists just in music that I can do." So anyway, with that, this is the one that I shared with the leadership team a couple of weeks ago from Steve Jobs, the next one you're about to see. And I'm a massive Steve Jobs fan. You can even see right here, Steve Jobs autobiography by Walter Jacobson, sitting right here on my desk. This is 1985, guys. This is 40 years ago. And this is Steve Jobs talking about the future. But one of the things he says, I just want to say it so you can pay attention to it. He's talking about history and Alexander the Great and how excited he is that he has the ability to hear about Alexander the Great's tutor. And he says, do you know who his tutor was? It was Aristotle, the famous philosopher. Aristotle was Alexander the Great's tutor. And so he's saying the only reason I even know what was conversed is because I live in society that has the written page that I can read Aristotle's words to Alexander the Great. And he goes, that's great. And then he says this, but let's watch it.
Alexander the Great's tutor was for about 14 years. You know, Aristotle. And I read this, I became immensely jealous. Through the miracle of the printed page, I can at least read what Aristotle wrote without an intermediary, but at least I can go directly to the source material. And that is, of course, the foundation upon which our Western civilization is built. But I can't ask Aristotle a question. I mean, I can, but I won't get an answer. And so my hope is that in our lifetimes, we can make a tool of a new kind, of an interactive kind. We are now entering another revolution of free energy. A Macintosh, as you know, uses less power than a few of those light bulbs, and yet can save us a few hours a day or give us a whole new experience. And it's free intellectual energy. And so my hope is someday, when the next Aristotle is alive, we can capture the underlying worldview of that Aristotle in a computer. And someday, some student will be able to not only read the words Aristotle wrote, but ask Aristotle a question and get an answer.
Okay, that's good. All right, so there's so much in there. I mean, when you think of artificial intelligence today, you can literally bring Aristotle to life asking those questions or teaching or tutoring. And he said, my hope is that someday on the computer, you'll be able to ask a question and Aristotle will be able to give you that answer. I'm paraphrasing pretty much what he said. But again, and when I see the excitement of Craig talking about, hey, it was deja vu all over again, to quote Craig, that he saw what we have. You know, I was on a call yesterday with my good friend Dan Swindell for a couple of hours with a person that was looking at our business. And we were doing a 2 hour Zoom, Dan. I mean, I can't even believe it went 2 hours. And we're trying to explain this concept. And it got through that the difference between our blockchain and all the other blockchains that we were discussing on the phone and that they were, you know, heard about, and they were a lot more familiar than I was with blockchain. And of course, Dan, being a former recovering financial planner, he had the ability to kind of break through and explain what the difference was. And when we started talking about SaaS products, and there was a translation involved, which is part of the reason why it took a little bit longer to translate everything. Um, when you realize that we are going to have products, subscription products, software as a subscription, software as a product, then we're going to be able to have these products. It's great. Now, in our particular case, a lot of us came from another credit card company that we were looking very excited, looking forward to the introduction of this credit card. Here we sit, guys, today, July 19th. Here we are sitting today, probably 6 to 8 weeks before the introduction of that kind of concept of a credit card. And you've probably heard Craig and Bob mention that that vendor, that company has spent somewhere in the neighborhood of $78 million of sunken costs into all the things that that credit card can do. Now, my good friend Gordon and I, we have a call with Bob in which we discuss these things. And I'm always giving Bob this incredibly hard time that, Bob, you always say, hey, it'll take me an hour just to explain all the incredible benefits that you'll get on this card. And I said it again. And he said, look, it's going to be here sometime in the next, let's just for convenience sake, without saying anything, say next couple of months. It'll either be here in August or it'll be here in September, guys. But that's coming. And then you think about all the other things we're talking about, a travel situation that's supposed to be travel on steroids, that, we have a health opportunity where people can have access to a health app that's going to be great. We talk about our cellular, of what's happening with the satellite phone. So, that's pretty good. So let me just share this rather than just kind of go on, and let me see where we are here. Let me go back and let's go down. Oh, yeah, here we go. Okay, and I wanted to talk a little bit about Katie Ledecky. Now, a lot of you guys may not know who Katie Ledecky is. Some of you might, but Katie Ledecky won a gold medal in the Olympics at 17. Now, most of our aspirations in life are not to win a gold medal, but Katie Ledecky won a gold medal at 17. The reason why she's so incredible is, according to Wikipedia, she is the all-time gold medal winner, and she won 14 Olympic medals. Okay, nine of them were gold medals, so the all-time winner. And she wrote a book, a great name on the book, Just Add Water. And in that book, she was asked the question by reporters, what is the key to your success? And she said she felt the key to her success was the discipline she had to wait until she was able to accomplish the results she did. And she said, here is one statistic that I'm very proud of over almost anything in my life. She goes, I never slept in through an alarm ever. I got up every morning. It was like at 5 a.m. to swim those laps. And she was consistent daily and doing that. She goes, I never knew if I was going to reach the ultimate goal or not, but she did. She won that gold medal. And now she's the all-time record holder when you think of it like that. It's interesting. Gordon mentioned just a few minutes ago how we had the opportunity sometimes in networking to meet celebrities and people that were our heroes. This is a picture of Mark Spitz. Mark Spitz won 7 gold medals, which was the most of all time for a swimmer until Michael Phelps came along. And Mark Spitz was in our organization at New Skin. And this is a picture of Mark later on, in our organization at New Skin. And I thought, what would attract somebody who won 7 gold medals, was considered to be the greatest swimmer of all time, and then boom, there he is working in our New Skin organization. I'm just making a comment here that this is cool. This is another one, Rudy Gaines. If any of you are as obsessed over the Summer Olympics as I am, I love the Summer Olympics. I watch so much of track and field, and I watch the concept of somebody practicing every day of their lives, and for 4 years, they're waiting for 10 seconds of their life and everything they've practiced their whole life for, to be the fastest man in the world, Usain Bolt. I mean, that name alone, that guy was destined to become the fastest man in the world. Who has a name of Bolt? I mean, like a lightning bolt. It seems great. This is Rowdy Gaines. He does all the announcing for the gold medals in the Summer Olympics. And you'll hear Rowdy, he gets very excited. Guess what? Rowdy is in network marketing, just making a comment after his career, and he still does the Olympics. But what's he do? These are people that are exciting. If you aim at nothing, you will hit it every time. So what I'm saying is, and Gordon and I talk about this almost on a daily basis, we go, yeah, right now, what's our opportunity? Our opportunity is to sell nodes. So you go out and you sell a node and you make a fast start bonus of $300, on that node. And why Cirrus? What is it about Cirrus that is different than everybody else? And it's because we have these products. And so you heard Bob talk about on his opportunity meeting how the Cirrus Safe basically costs about $10 a month. And yet the company gives, as Jeremy mentioned last week when he did his training on Cirrus Safe, the company gives you 20 rewards per day, 600 rewards a month that you're getting for the Cirrus Safe usage. And you want to use a Cirrus Safe. So consequently, that's why we sent our broadcast from that, uh, from that cell phone. This is so exciting, to think of a satellite phone, not a cell phone. I mean, we don't know what else to call this phone, but it's going to be a satellite phone using the Starlink system to be able to track and move forward. Streaming. Yesterday, when Dan and I were doing this, I was using streaming as an example of, and sometimes it's hard to get the concept through of what we're talking about. So I said, okay, I know Chris and I, because Chris and I talk about movies all the time and things, but we got Disney. We have, I mean, personally, got Disney, got Amazon, got Paramount, got Apple, got Netflix, got Max, we got all these different services. I have no idea how much a month I'm paying for these subscriptions. But do I ever think of canceling one? No, I don't. Why? Because I have grandkids come over and want to watch Disney. I want to make sure I have Disney. On Netflix, they have a lot of things. I got to keep, yeah, what's, the hottest show that we should be watching, that's fun. Right now, there's a great series. I was talking to Jeremy about The Chosen. It's a very interesting and great series and 5 seasons. And I even went to the movie theater so I could watch that on the big screen. But there's all these different opportunities that we're talking about. Travel, we mentioned that. John McKillop has a travel background. He was involved with one of the biggest travel MLM companies ever. He understands that. What a great addition to have somebody like John in corporate that can help navigate what we're doing in our travel business. Okay. And then, of course, our AI, and I like to say AI card. I'm going to tell you guys something. I sleep and dream this stuff every night. I'm waking up with something. I had this great idea. I'm from Canada, and I thought I should trademark Canada's most famous slogan. And you know what Canada's most famous slogan that people say all the time? They always go, "Eh?" And so I thought maybe I should trademark EHI. AI, I know it's stupid, it's ridiculous. That's how crazy I am. But nevertheless, I'm dreaming this stuff, guys. Why am I dreaming this stuff? I'm dreaming this stuff because this is an opportunity. And so when I was with Dan and Kent and these individuals, they said, but we're familiar with crypto, we're familiar with blockchain, but what is this that you guys are doing? We're introducing products. And I use Disney as a great example, streaming. I said, let's just say, and I doubt many people pay $100 a month for streaming, but let's say $100 just to keep the numbers simple. Imagine that you can have all the services that you're using currently and you don't have to pay more money for them than what you're paying currently. And all of a sudden, just like the Cirrus Safe, you're getting rewards in addition to that, and you're getting paid commissions as you use that product. You're getting paid commissions because, we have the node and we compared it to a toll booth. So if I have an organization like Jeremy and people here on this call that are using a streaming service, and every time they use that streaming service, it's streaming along the blockchain. We call it aligned with the blockchain, where it goes through the blockchain, and you get paid an override commission. You get paid for being able to do that. You don't have to pay more, and you're getting, in many cases, double the rewards. I'm going, what is the downside? You guys help. That's why we're open worldwide. That's why you'll see on that top 10 list, there were people on that list. Number one guy was from Norway. There were 3 people from Australia on that list. We don't have any warehouses. We don't have any shipping. We don't have any of these problems that you would normally. We don't have to have huge warehouses where we store products. What an amazing concept this is for us to have. And you guys are sitting right here first. So what do we do while we wait? while we're waiting for these products. Because where does this become very vibrant, very exciting? It becomes very vibrant and very exciting as we add these products. Right now, we have all these different nodes available, right? And I'm sure Jeremy and Scotty Merker and other people kept bringing up, hey, wouldn't it be great so that when we're in some of these other markets, that we don't have that $1,000 price point? And, I love that we have $1,000 price point, but for other countries, maybe it makes sense that makes it easier for people to get involved with their company. Guys, you are first. And what I mean by that, let me just stop my share here and let me get back to pinning. Okay, so you guys are first. And what keeps me up at night, what keeps Gordon up at night, what keeps John McKillop up at night, and Jeremy and all our leaders and everything is the fact that we're the only blockchain out there that has subscription products that we're introducing. So we're changing from the model of networking. And we talked about that. We say, hey, this isn't the same as it was 5 years ago. We had a pandemic. And since that time period in direct sales, according to Direct Sales Association, every product that was being sold out there that wasn't a service has gone down. They published their statistics. We have shown you guys their statistics. Both distributors and products sales are going down. Why? Because like we always talk about, when you buy a product from a typical network marketing company, it's 5, 6, 7 times marked up so we could pay a commission. And now we sit in a position where we don't have to pay a commission like that. You can buy the product for the same price. I used to always make fun of Amway. I love Amway. Amway, I just looked up the statistic the other day. They're doing $8 billion annually in sales. Now, when I watch the Orlando Magic play a basketball game against the Jazz, they're playing it in the Amway Center. I mean, I'm looking at all these things, and here we are. That's why Gordon always says to me, he goes, Steve, I think this could be the biggest thing in network marketing history because we don't have any of those obstacles I just mentioned. And we have all the opportunity to get paid commissions, to get paid overrides, to get paid rewards. And that's something nobody has in our industry. And that's an advantage when you're talking to people. So just wanted you guys to know that. Want you all to have a great Saturday. For the leaders, our leadership conference, I don't want you to forget, is next Tuesday morning, guys. You'll want to be on that for just, our leadership council that we're talking about where we're going, what's happening, why we're so excited. And for the rest of you, just know that in the next 4 to 8 weeks, we're going to be introducing products that will change everyone's lives out there and change the opportunity. And you won't know what to do with it. That's my feeling. That's where I am today. Thank you, everybody, for being here. And we'll see you. We'll try to keep it to half an hour. I'm 7 minutes late. I'm so sorry. Okay, with that, take care, guys. Have a great Saturday. Okay, appreciate you.